So hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar on remote working. We'll be going over some tips and tricks on how to ensure business continuity during these challenging times. First off, I want to say we've seen a tremendous amount of interest in this webinar with over 400 worldwide registrations. So I know there are people here with all kinds of backgrounds. And our intention today is to present a high-level overview of various features, suitable as well for people with only a little background and therefore. So if you are in a sales or marketing position, I think the content will be perfect for you. If you're a more technical person, of course, we're glad you're here. In that case, I wanted to let you know that we will also have plenty of webinars in the coming weeks that are more product focused. So even though I can't hear you talk, I still hope to interact with you. We are using WebEx Events, which is an events module, and all participants on the call are muted, so if you have a question, please type it in the chat box. I will be happy to answer the questions at the end of the session. So a little about myself. My name is Kono. I'm a member of Therefores Media Team, and I'm currently based in New York. Anyway, I'm doing this presentation from my home office, and I assume most of you are joining from home as well. So as all of us are aware, the world is currently undergoing some very drastic changes due to the current situation with the global pandemic that's happening. Our weekend travel plans have changed, of course, but not only that, our way of working is now different than before. And in order to stay healthy around the world, we're all being advised to socially distance ourselves as much as possible. And that means that many of us are going to be working from home over the next few weeks. Many countries all over the world have already been in lockdown for 2 weeks, and I know that many of you have also been working from home for quite some time. So what does this new way of working mean to all of us? Well, of course, it's having a quite big impact on business and private life as well. Offices are shut. People are working from home as much as possible. There's no customer meetings going on, no face-to-face demonstrations. Seminars and events have been canceled, and travel bans in general have been enacted all over the world. The key difference is that when working remotely, business documents can only be accessed as long as they are digital. We cannot access our paper documents in storage boxes in the office, and we no longer can casually stroll over to our colleague's desk to ask for a status update on a project or process. Basically, if it's not online, it doesn't exist for an employee in home office. Now the question is really, how can a business successfully move from an office to a home office environment? Well, the short answer is that the business has to adapt. I have a quote here from Charles Darwin saying, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change." And in my opinion, this is, although it sounds a bit morbid, it is quite inspirational. I mean, the meaning really here is that we can all survive if we choose to adapt. We don't need to be born the strongest, the smartest, or the fastest. Just like any business today that wishes to survive, it doesn't need to be the biggest in the industry. But in order to survive, we do have the need to adapt to a new situation. And in this case, we must choose to adapt to working from home. We know the future is virtual, mobile, and agile. So let's find out a little bit more about what this means. As we can see in this graph here, information management is a challenge for everyone. This is from an AIM survey that was done in 2019. And both mobile enablement and document management were mentioned as some of the most important digital workplace strategies for the organization. Now that the situation has changed around the world and all companies must adapt to a remote workforce, we can imagine that these topics are even more important. Thus, there is a true opportunity for Therefore in the market. Not only is remote work now a necessity due to the current crisis, but remote work is also a long-term strategy that has real benefits for companies and employees. Companies can benefit from a remote workforce by taking advantage of not being geographically bound to a specific region, which can possibly give them a greater selection of employees or, of course, cost savings. This also gives employees the flexibility to move or travel while keeping their job. As an example, Therefore Corporation has already enabled remote work for a long time, And I'll give you a personal example for starters. So those of you who know me know that I used to be based in Austria at the Therefore headquarters. However, I recently moved back to New York, and because Therefore was already fully prepared for digital and remote work, the transition was quite smooth. I'm able to continue my work uninterrupted and with no negative impact. Moreover, it's been shown that remote workers are more productive and more willing to engage in overtime. And I think intuitively we understand that commuting is very stressful, so remote work can be a great strategy to reduce stress and help increase flexibility. In sum, remote work can be seen as a winning strategy in the long term, both for employers and employees. Now that we've established why remote work is so important, let's move on to some strategies that we can use not only to survive, but thrive. This is a brief list of some of the essential tools we believe you need to succeed in home office, and we'll be looking at each one of those in detail in a bit to learn how Therefore supports them. So the tools that we have listed here basically are cloud infrastructure or VPN connectivity, secure document access, mobile access on the go, digital video meetings and desktop sharing and collaboration tools, and digital signature. Finally, it goes without saying that a good internet connection, a dedicated workspace, self-motivation, and a good routine are important for anyone working from home. Setting priorities is important, just as having a good dedicated workspace is. And as a father of a currently 1-year-old baby, this picture reminds me a lot of my own life, and I'm sure many parents of young children out there can relate with the current situation. So, other tools for successful home office include ensuring good communication with your teammates, whereas in an office you can quickly turn your chair to ask your colleague a question. You have to message, call, or text your colleague now when you're doing home office. In our team, personally, we found that having a daily stand-up meeting has been a great way to keep momentum, and it keeps us accountable to our goals and tasks. Plus, by scheduling it at the same time every day, it keeps us on the same schedule as if we were in the office, including getting dressed up and ready for the day. Using video conferencing helps us stay connected. It helps us prevent loneliness and also to ensure that we are keeping up appearances. You can see that nice image we have at the bottom of the slide here. So I'd like to encourage all of you to do the same. It also helps to write down daily goals and task lists. When writing goals, make sure that your goals are SMART, S-M-A-R-T. This stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And when you use SMART, you can create clear, attainable, and meaningful goals and develop the motivation, action plans, and the support you need to achieve them. So another quote for you now, we cannot control our circumstances, but we can control our response. Yes, this is quite a scary and worrisome time, and at this time I would like to encourage everyone to use this time of home office to be a time of productivity, a time to be responsive, and let's look into now a little bit more about how Therefore can enable that. Therefore is an information management solution designed to help you capture, secure, manage, access, automate, and analyze all kinds of information throughout your business. Today, we'll be focusing specifically on accessing the information in a remote setting. Information comes into the office in many different forms. This can be an attachment, it can be mail as a physical letter, it can be data coming from an ERP system, it can be shared folders, or other sources as well. Therefore, can take all of this information without any human intervention. If you receive an email, normally you'd have to go into the email, save it where it belongs, maybe rename it, maybe then forward it to another colleague. Whereas with Therefore, the attachment can be automatically saved and named without any human interaction. Moreover, once that document is saved into Therefore, it can be incorporated into a workflow where it's automatically routed around the office and processed by the relevant parties. This saves time, decreases errors, and overall increases efficiency. Let's now look at those 6 essential tools we mentioned earlier in detail to learn more about how Therefore enables remote work. So the first, cloud structure or VPN connectivity. This with Therefore Online. Therefore Online is very secure, runs on Microsoft Azure, offers disaster recovery and failover servers to ensure a high uptime. It can be remotely deployed and is scalable. And because Therefore Online is a cloud service platform, it's very easy to set up and can be deployed very quickly and with no face-to-face interaction needed. So just to give you an idea, here's a quick map of where our Microsoft Azure data centers are located. We will soon be opening a new one in India as well. Of course, security is very important, especially when employees are accessing documents remotely, and therefore offers a combination of anti-tamper measures, access controls, and disaster recovery, along with version control, audit trail, signatures, and encryption. And on top of those features, therefore, has also been certified by external experts to meet the requirements of the GDPR, which means that privacy by design and privacy by default are both characteristics of the software. Last but not least, therefore offers extensive possibilities for authorization. This means that when a user needs to access the Therefore system, there are many choices for how that user can log in. Often they will use a single sign-on, meaning that they will use the same credentials they use to access their computer. Alternatively, credentials using OAuth, Okta, or Azure AD could also be used. If this sounds difficult, keep in mind that for the user signing into Therefore, in any case, this will always be seamless, secure, and very easy. Basically, they won't even notice that anything is happening. It's up to the system admin and the technical staff to define which system and approach is best suited for the customer. We provide all the choices, so customers have the flexibility to choose the one that's right for them. And speaking of security, I wanted to mention that we have a full audit trail of all the actions that were performed by any user. Moreover, it's important to mention that any documents that are deleted by users aren't permanently deleted until the admin actually deletes them from the system. Similarly, retention policies can be defined to delete certain documents after the legal retention period has passed. For example, many tax documents need to be kept for a period of 5 to 10 years, after which they can be destroyed. Let's now move on to another key feature in Therefore, which enables remote work, and this would be our mobile app called Therefore Go. Therefore Go is available on Android and iOS, on both phones and tablets, and the app allows you to find, view, and add new documents, add pictures, process workflows, and also delegate workflow tasks to other employees. For increased security, the Therefore system can be set up to use also two-factor authentication, sometimes also referred to as multi-factor authentication. That's where you sign in with the username and password, and you also get a code sent to you via text message or SMS. Using the app is great not only for when employees are traveling, but the camera can also be used, can also be easily integrated into many business processes. For example, you can have employees using the app to manage their expenses by taking pictures of their receipts, or employees who work at remote sites could take pictures of customers' locations, of whatever they need to take pictures of there. Regardless of what the images would be used for, the entire process can be managed, controlled, and traced in Therefore for maximum efficiency. So I wanted to show you a few screenshots of the mobile app. This is in regards to using the app on an Android tablet. So first we have a view of the search results. As you can see, the names of the documents and some of the index data is visible. This is the simple screen for searching for a document. You can search for a document using index data. This is the metadata that the document was tagged with, or you can also search within the document for text inside of it. Third, this is what it looks like when you've when you'd like to take a picture and upload it to Therefore. And finally, sharing a document using Google Drive or any other collaboration feature within the software. So as you can see, the app may seem simple, but it's actually quite powerful in what it can do. Speaking of cloud collaboration, which I mentioned, let me expand on what I mean with sharing and collaboration tools in Therefore. So Therefore is a secure information management platform for sharing information with people within the company. And to accomplish that, Therefore provides a lot of different options for employees within the company to share documents with each other. One of the options is sharing documents by sending a link. So one Therefore user sends a link to another with another user with a Therefore system. And we can also set up simple tasks to notify others about tasks that they need to take care of or documents they need to review. And of course, after a user changes the document, that user can add comments before checking it in so others can know what changes were made or to inform other users of anything else they need to be made aware of. But how can people within a company collaborate with others outside of it? This is where the integration with cloud storage comes in. Therefore, can work together with a third-party cloud sharing software to upload and download content. This is a great option for low security content like marketing materials or so, where employees may want to collaborate with authors from third parties. Here's a screenshot of what the cloud collaboration looks like. Basically, a user opens a document, and once configured, simply needs to select which files to upload for sharing. Simple as that. Finally, no discussion of collaboration in Therefore would be complete without mentioning the Therefore workflow, of course. Workflow is a tool that allows you to digitize business processes. So instead of physically moving invoices from desk to desk to get payment approvals, the same invoice is routed digitally. And because the process statistics are always visible, you always know where each document is in the process, how long it's taking, as well as where any bottlenecks may be. This is, of course, especially important in remote working. And the final tool we want to mention that Therefore offers for remote work is digital signature. And remember, when we're talking about digital signature, we mean a digital provider of e-signature services that is accepted as a legally valid signature. And in order to do this, the customer needs to purchase a license that the e-signature for that e-signature provider. Therefore does offer out-of-the-box integration with DocuSign, SimpleSign, and uSign. But we also have an agnostic signing service, which makes it possible to integrate with other providers as well. So how does the e-signature work? It's actually quite a simple process for the end user. A contract is saved in Therefore. It could be any type of document, but in this case, let's say it's a lease agreement. And after going through a workflow, the lease is sent for signing to a new tenant. The new tenant will receive an email, and they simply add their name, date, and sign the document in the email interface. Afterwards, they save the signature, and the signed document is automatically sent back to Therefore and saved. The tenant and also the employees don't need to save or do anything. The entire process is handled by Therefore, which makes it incredibly efficient, easy, and straightforward for everyone involved. I personally am a big fan of the e-signature feature, and I think it's a great solution for businesses who need to send out a lot of contracts for signature. By using this, you avoid the hassle of printing out contracts, going to the post office, waiting for responses. It's all done online, which can cut off weeks in terms of finalizing contracts. So now that you've seen some of the remote working features in Therefore, let's once again summarize why Therefore is a good choice. We mentioned Therefore Online can be installed remotely. It can be deployed quickly, no need for any face-to-face interaction. Therefore itself in general can be installed and configured remotely. It also enables secure access, visibility, collaboration, and audit today without compromising security, health, or productivity of any workers. So we have reached the end of this webinar. I'd like to thank you for joining and for listening. The health and safety of you, your family, and your colleagues is absolutely the most important thing during this challenging time. We believe at Therefore that by enabling a workforce to work from home, we can each contribute in a small way to the safety and health of everyone. Let me check now to see if there are any questions, and I'll be happy to address those.